It is not pain that has you choosing to love, or that creates a giving heart, or, again, that actually has people doing the things they do. It is you choosing to be an unconditionally loving person. And we're going to use the cards if they want to allow me to use them. Let's see right here. Okay, so anybody who's new, 5D Mystic here. 5D, we talk about being a human because we are human. We know our divinity is our humanity, and we have, thank you, Sadhguru, as well, who's sharing the same. So once you are in your humanity, empowerment, you can only show up fully and completely when you have integration of the brain as a human being. That means that you don't have a Cusco attitude. So you're not an adaptive child. An adaptive child actually is a person who still has their charges. And the baseline would be the teenager view that leads the way. And so you don't actually transmute pain in your relationships. There's not a new beginning. So as we have a lunar eclipse, the 4D collective keeps talking about, as well as the 3D, of people and humanity not being good, trying to push this goodness upon us too much. They're not attachment trauma informed. I am. Okay, so that's where mystic and attachment trauma informed. So I'm educated, and the mind is that divine masculine. For those of you who are mystics, you might have a divine masculine in your oversoul. I know I have divine masculines, and your body's your divine feminine. Now, when you're divine feminine, luckily for us, we know exactly what to do when we have sadness go up and come up. By the way, sadness is our connecting to each other. So sadness arises when something doesn't go the way you want. Now, if you had a parent, I do, who allowed you to learn how to do and align, here we go. And so what does that mean? Secure attachment. Thanks, Mom. So having no loss of power at all, which is why reclaiming power is not about being, what is it called? Let me come and be unapologetically myself. No, but being yourself is quite interesting. As you grow up, healthy self-worth means I'm not going to back down from being me just because you don't like how I express something. So essentially, usually that's what you're going to find. People have different opinions, and that's all. If you have healthy self-worth, you don't chip away at anything. So let me go back to this, because this one is very important for today's message. So when you have emotions arise, if you have a good relationship with your left and right, here's the inner growth mindset. Left is the verbal one, right is the nonverbal. So, emotions came up. I'm upset, and I'm thinking while I'm upset. A person who has an inner growth mindset and has unconditional love and has a whole 3-year-old heart. Thanks, Mom. And so this is where, doesn't matter how we want to put it, my brain and myself, the chit chatter of my mind, is going to be not my best friend, not my worst enemy. So not my inner critic, not my worst enemy, not my best friend, outer critic, where I go and point a finger and say, I'm going to go tell that person who brought these tears and the elephant on the chest, and then claim how many scars I have on my chest. That's what you hear from teenagers all over the place. And they're talking about the saga of their twin flame. Yeah, the saga is actually quite disrespectful to something that is very important. No, no, you have an oversoul. The divine feminine has an oversoul. It means we have twin flames and soulmates, but that's the mature divine feminines. The ones who call themselves feminines, and then they go about, saying, the pain that I went through makes me a great teacher, and that's why I chose love. Well, I'm going to say that you seem to be highlighting one emotion over another, which means you don't know how to balance yourself, which means you're exaggerating it, which means you're doing karma, not dharma. What I get to learn from Sadhguru is he explains really well how to be conscious and integrated brain. Thank you also Daniel Siegel, which is where he shares what an integrated brain looks like on the machines. Left and right mode, all hands on deck. Default mode network down regulated. And that default mode network, for those who don't know how to be in a space of harmony inside of them, so integration of the brain, okay? So yeah, they don't have a mind that knows how to be their friend. That's why they have such a hard time with the ums and the alignments, and I don't at all. It's very easy for my brain, Maria's brain to be quiet, which is why we talk about being yourself, because I got to do it with Sadhguru. I didn't need it. I already knew how to work with my emotional stuff. Thanks, Mom. So I'm very much of a person who has emotions, and I got told it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You hold yourself the way you were held. So when you learn enough about attachment trauma information, you know that the secure attachment person will be able to handle that which comes up if they want to show up fully and completely, which you begin to choose as a teenager, because that's when you are going to move from your unfinished business from home and how you were held there to how you're going to be with your herd. Okay, I learned how to not need to use my mouth or my eyes or any of it to actually feel empowered. In fact, I learned this thing called respect. Respect that you are a 3-year-old and the world doesn't revolve around you, and that you're going to not always get what you want, but you're going to get what you need because you got 2 hands and you got 2 feet. Again, thank you, Mother. So luck and right timing? Yeah, no, that's not how really life doesn't work that way. It doesn't fall from the sky. And I did grow up with Jesus and God, and I remember learning, yes, while we are balancing, we are going to get what we are going to go out and proactively seek, which is why we don't need to find ourselves like Elsa does in Frozen 2, the 5D collective. I'm Maria. What's your name? Okay, so with that being said, I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality elements together, support people who want to take their emotional stuff seriously and have fun with it. It's called emotional accountability and maturity, and be Pacha handshake. So let's say I love you for real and not pretend, and have a lovely, lovely relationship. So intimacy is not about actually touching anyone. In fact, you cannot be intimate if you don't have access to your whole 3-year-old heart, because then you're going to be defensive, and you are going to, in fact, have what is called not bilateral integration, but impaired bilateral integration. And on this lunar eclipse, as it approaches, the people who are in alignment with themselves, they are transmuting what comes up with a lot of awareness of what it means to have healthy self-worth. And so to be with people who love you means you be you, I be me. Love is you accepting, respecting, and acknowledging that every person has a journey, which is why twin flames don't have a saga or soulmates. In the oversoul, and a divine feminine remains a nurturer, and when she has to use her divine masculine, she then knows how to protect her entire oversoul, which is where I told a bunch of people that are in 4D, you may not agree with what your divine masculines are doing, but this is their life, not your life. They're people, your people. So how about you just keep showing up like an actual human being who's in a relationship where you care. You show up fully and completely, not because of some string attached, unless you're trying to attach a string, which does make sense though, because your 0-1-year-old is you, and that's your attached panicky. We all have that. Thanks, Mom. I know how to be my own safe haven. So people who know how to say, okay, if you and I are not on the same page of where we are headed as a couple or as a friendship, any relationship, we can recalibrate, and that's what happens. You recalibrate to match what both and or more people want, because love is actually something not only that is always passionate without needing to do anything at all, it's also free and fun. Being free and fun is easy when you are the person who leads yourself, because you have self-empowerment. Again, you don't have your worth depending on another. If somebody says, I don't like you, it's okay. It's called being a person who's not liked by all people. Whole 3-year-old heart. That's why we don't change our ways. When we meet unkindness, we chose and choose love. I did. Thank you also, Jesus and God, because this is who kept on supporting me and still does, but in different ways. And, being in the Enlightenment Soul age group is also really fun. But knowing that you don't need to be unapologetically rude to people, yeah, this is the best part about being emotionally accountable and actually enlightened. Always you can, because the body is yours. So everything that comes up, you can handle it, because the thoughts and the emotions, they're yours to handle. That's because you have the integration of the brain capacity, and that's your restorative embodied self also. Your body's going home to itself. Your brain looks to heal if there's any trauma charges lingering around. So we're always moving towards Pacha. When you allow that to happen, welcome to the lovely IHP community, the 5D collective. We talk all about these beautiful relationships and its tango partners, and get ready for some more of this, because, the energies. They're really, really fun. Unmarked trails. Tune in.